glutes, groin, and a little bit of lower body today to suit me as always and everybody else. So this morning it is literally a case of, as always, on live. If we're working through anything that you think, oh, I wish we could do that, please just let your voice be heard, because it's very much your class as well as mine, honestly. Right, so we're going to start definitely today, because it's been a few days. We're going to start with 3 main mobility movements, and you know what they are, okay? So all we're going to do is walk out and get all the back end of that body nice and stretched out, okay? So again, depending on how stiff you are, ease yourself into it, settle into it, and then all I'm trying to do is push the hips back, push the heels down, and trying, this is the key part, trying to get that upper body nice and straight also. So I'm trying to push the head and chest through. And again, the first one, if you're feeling particularly tight, it's just really a case of trying to iron out any initial tightness so that the second one you get into is a bit better, okay? Because right now, at this moment in time, this is feeling pretty damn sore. Okay, so feet together, and then I'm just going to simply drop the hips down and then push them through. And again, depending how tight you are, take your time with it. Don't just go, hit! So we're pushing the hips through, chest up nice and proud. And it's just trying to relax into it, okay? Sure, our arms aren't relaxed, they're kind of supporting all our weight, but we're trying to keep those hips relaxed, push them through. And again, you can lift that chin up, but I don't, because then I can't speak. And now all I'm going to do, which would be a damn shame, all I'm going to do now is get the feet shoulder width apart again. And this time, I've got rid of that initial stiffness, so I should feel that I can get into a better position. Now again, it's not just a case of holding, I'm trying to really push through it, okay? I'm pushing through it, trying to take it further and further and further. And again, you can add those side rotations into the torso, which will lengthen out the back muscles, and you'll feel that along the side of your back. And then I'm bringing my feet together again, hit up on top of the hands and dropping down through. And we'll do one more. We'll do one more. So again, it's a good way to get the spine mobilized, but pretty much everything. Yeah, everything. And then I'm coming back up, this being number 3. I'm really going to go for this one now. This is my last one. So this is the one where you really want to try and go a wee bit further than you've ever been. Again, depending on how stiff or so tight you are today, but you're trying. For most people, the last part of this movement is the upper body, okay? They can get the legs nice and straight, they can get the stretch, but their back's just a wee bit arched, and that's where the tightness in the arms, in the back, and the chest and the shoulders needs ironing out. So that's what we're trying for the last part to do, which is usually the last struggle, and that's getting this upper body down through the arms. Good, and then I'm going to walk in. Right, grab your mats if you've got one. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Keep sipping the water throughout this morning. The theme of the day is rehydration. It's very hot out there. So keep sipping the water as we go. Right, so I'm going to lie down. Oh, I'm not going to lie down, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to bring the feet together, knees together. And then we're going to do, still not got a name for it, the rolly up one. Right, the rolly up one. I want you to keep your knees soft on this one. So when I say knees soft, you should be able to get your hands behind your knees, okay? You'll be able to slide your hands underneath there. All I want you to do is stand up nice and tall, tuck the chin in, and then simply try to roll yourself up. Okay, I'm not trying to touch my toes. Please get out that mindset. I'm not going this way. You will inevitably go that way. But I want you to try and focus on your spine. I'm up nice and tall. I'm tucking the chin in. And all I want you to do, one vertebrae at a time, is just slowly curl that spine up. Now you'll find that you probably don't go very far. You probably get to the sticking point pretty quickly. Okay, and all I'll ask you then is to keep tucking the chin in and keep trying to go further. It's a good idea to plant your hands on the ground and then simply walk your hands forward as an anchor to try and help you go forward. Now I'm talking to you out of this position because once I'm in this position, I can't really talk to you. So if you're not sure, you can have a look. But again, I start trying to focus. And straight away, that's about me. I'm at a sticking point. I feel my hamstrings, I feel my glutes, I feel my lower back especially. Find the relaxation, focus on your breathing, and then start taking it a wee bit further. So that's where I bring the arms in. Okay, I'm just trying to walk the hands forwards a wee bit at a time. And just like any other stretch, every time I move, I'm making sure I'm as relaxed as I can be. The muscles are nice and relaxed before I think about moving further. I don't want to just go flying straight into the deep end because you will not be relaxed. So again, make sure those knees are soft, not really bent, but certainly not completely locked out. Make sure the chin's tucked in at all times. And again, think about the spine. It's the spine we're focusing on in this movement. It's curving that spine up, rolling it up, and as a result, any tightness in any area of your body that's going to limit you doing that will make itself known, and that's what I want you to try and iron out a little bit. So we're going further and further. No point have I eased off. Okay, I'm walking further and further, but I'm not trying to focus on going towards my feet with my body. I'm focusing on rolling that spine up. This is predominantly going to be hamstrings and lower back for most people. Most people. You can feel it anywhere though. You could be feeling this in your upper back. You could be feeling it in your glutes. And it's just about relaxing, everybody. It's about trying to let yourself relax into these movements, and you'll find that your muscles do ease out a wee bit and you can go just that little bit further. And then I'm going to come up. I'm going to sit up gradually. Good. And very briefly, we're going to do one more, but this is not going to be as long. So hopefully you feel that you can go a wee bit further. Again, it's very limited. It'd be a different case if you were trying to touch your toes, okay? You could really go for it, but we're not really getting that far because by curving this spine up, we're lengthening everything out before we even start moving, okay? So you're not going to have a great range of movement. So feel free to do, we're going to do one more, but it's not going to be as long. You can do it sitting down, you can do it standing up. Whatever one you feel is best for you. You might find that it just slightly changes the emphasis between standing and sitting up. And that's what I mean. It's what works for you. I feel this one a lot more in the lower back when I'm sat down than I do standing up, but probably not quite as much in the legs. Good, and then we're coming up, and that'll do is just fine. Okay, before we start getting onto our target areas for today, we'll get stuck in to some quick spinal mobilization, okay? So I'm on all fours, and again, I like to throw this one pretty regular because it's important, it's very important. So all I'm doing, on all fours, I'm going to arch my back into extension, arch and back, get to that sticking point, as in the point you can no longer go any further, and then do a 5-second countdown. And then when you get to your 0, it's going the other way, okay? So I'm not twisting. I'm pushing my spine up through my upper back, bringing my lower back with it too. So I want you to think about that lower back. Is that also rising? Good. Okay, get to that sticking point, 5-second countdown. Good, and then transition. And you keep that transition going at your own pace. 5 seconds at the sticking point, trying to take it further. Good, and just keep the transitions going, everyone. Good, keep going, we'll do a few more. Each time you should just feel that if there is a bit of tightness in there, hopefully you're starting to ease it out. Good, I'm relaxed there, fantastic. Right, Now it's time for the not so fun stuff. I'd encourage you to get a sip of water. Now it's going to get uncomfortable, everybody. We're going straight into the kneeling groin stretch. And because we're focusing more on key areas today, we're going to be doing multiple stretches for the same area. It's going to target it slightly differently. So there's going to be a combination of flexibility, static holds, and obviously with mobility movements as well, with mobility drills. So all I'm going to be doing is my kneeling groin stretch. You know how it's done. We've been doing it long enough. I'm getting those knees as wide as I can. Yep. And then the focus is simply on trying to push the hips down towards the ground while pushing the hips back into a squat. And it's just easier if I show you side on. Okay, what I don't want you to do is go too fast into it and end up sitting like this with a curved back. Okay, so what I want you to do is get the knees apart. You want to feel like most of your body weight is resting on those knees. So if you're on the elbows or if you've got your arms out, they should feel pretty light on the ground, okay? You shouldn't feel like you're in a plank. And then all I'm doing is simply just adjusting my position, sliding my knees a wee bit further, and then I'm trying to keep my spine neutral, and I'm pushing my hips back. So I'm pushing my butt back as if I was going down into a squat. And you won't have to go far before you feel those adductors go hit. Okay, that groin's going to tense up pretty quick. You're going to feel that stretch. And that's where now it's just a matter of relax. Okay, well, you know what we're doing here. From this moment we're in now to 3 minutes time, you should have walked through a range, okay? It's not going to be a huge range, but right now I'm at my sticking point, as in I feel I'm at maximum stretch, and now I'm just going to keep moving a slight inch or two every, say, 10 to 15 seconds, okay? Now, there is no set time. It's a case of focusing on your breathing, relaxing, and then when you feel it's just maybe easing off a wee bit, go a wee bit further, okay? You're not just holding it. We're not maintaining. We're trying to improve. Make sure you're not fighting the stretch. Make sure the knees are completely sinking into the ground. You're trying to just let your pelvis collapse towards the ground here. Let gravity pull it down. Make sure you're not fighting it. So if you just try to zone out, focus on your breathing, and then move those hips a wee bit closer to your heels. And just keep that process going. And again, don't let that pelvis tilt. Again, if you're pretty tight and you try to force it too quickly, you'll find that pelvis starts to tilt underneath your body, and we don't want that. Now, you'll probably be surprised. You're probably holding a set position, thinking this is hell, but you could probably go another 5 inches. So really try to relax, but also try and get something from it, work through it, okay? Try, I know it gets real uncomfortable, this one, but just try your best. Oof. Oof. So it's not the nicest of stretches, but it's a damn effective and good stretch, okay? This will get the lower back involved also, as in if your lower back feels pretty tight or it's feeling beat up, again, it might well be that your groin's pretty tight and it's causing that strain on your lower back. So it's not directly your lower back, but it's your groin causing it. So quite often, not if your back does feel tight, this is a damn good one. Okay, we're going to slowly come out of that one. Ooh. Stand up, sip of water, walk around, and shake it out. Okay, so let the blood flow, let the blood regulate. Let everything get back to normal before we go into the next one, which is going to be our warrior lunge groin one. And again, I just make these names up. These names aren't official. I don't know what the name of the stretch is. It's your groin. Okay, it's kind of like it's nothing like a warrior lunge, but it makes sense to me. So, and we need to call it something. So all I'm going to do, that lunging one, okay, I'm taking my big lunge forward, so I'm going to get my hand, I'm going to pin it onto my foot, and as a result, my elbow is going to be on the inside of my knee. This is what I'm trying to achieve. I'll show you from the front, but this is what I'm trying to achieve with my spine. I'm trying to get my chest up. So remember that movement? Some people struggle with that because they can't quite coordinate how to get that upper back up, okay? So to help you think about it, it's just a case of when you're doing that movement, apply it to this one. So I'm pushing my hips down for a start, and then I'm trying to bring the chest up. See that transition? Okay, that comes from that movement that we do with our spinal mobility. and that might just get your head into what you're trying to achieve. Now, if you're pretty tight, your back will be arched. You won't be able to get it straight, okay? So if your groin's pretty tight and you can't get those hips low enough, then you're going to struggle to get your back straight, okay? And that's fine. You take this to the point, so now, that's me at the point in which, well, it's uncomfortable. Now the beauty of this is by having the hand on the foot, I can just get that elbow, push it into my knee and pull that knee out as I would do when I'm squatting, because that's exactly what I'm doing with this left leg of mine. I'm at the bottom of a squat, okay? That's what's happening with the hip. So all I want you to make sure that's not, what I want you to make sure is not happening is that your feet are coming off the ground, okay? So I want these toes driving in. Now what we're going to start doing is rotating away from the knee. Now if you are happy with this, go ahead, you know, make the most of the time. If you're not happy with it, I'll talk you through it as if you've never done it before. I'm going to start moving my torso away from my leg. Now I'm making sure that my leg is continuing to get pulled away from me. Now you can, if you want, push the knee. But the purpose of moving away is I'm lengthening out the groin. Yep, those adductors are getting lengthened out. Must be a seagull nesting ground or something around here. This is just ridiculous. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're blooming aye. Drive me nuts. And then they shit all over my van. See the amount of times I get my van nice and clean, and then by the time I go out of here, it's peppered. Bloody things. Oh, I know. Right. So I'm rotating away. Where was that? Where was that before I was rudely interrupted by the local wildlife? Twisting up. I see. Shut up. So I'm rotating away. Why? Because I'm lengthening this out. Yep, simple as that. I'm back at the centre. I've held that for a while before I went on my seagull rant. It's like living in the seashore. Right, so I'm back at the centre. Sorry, back in the zone. Stop moaning. Back in the zone, back in the centre. I've not eased out, but this will probably feel a bit better than it did when I first went into it, yep, because I've lengthened it out. So now I'm going to drop my elbow if you can, and I'm going to pull my chest towards my ankle. If you can't drop the elbow, it just makes it too much. You're still trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to go towards it now. Okay, so we're going to feel that slightly differently, but still, the core of this stretch, the heart of this stretch, is in the groin. Good, and when you're ready, get back to the centre, get that chest up, take 10 seconds just making sure everything feels good, and then ease out of it. Ease out of it, and I want you to stand up because that's quite a long one, that one, okay? That's a good 3 minutes at least. Walk around, let everything regulate again, shake it out, get a sip of water, and then we're going to do the exact same movement on the opposite leg. So again, a very good movement, a very effective movement, and that's definitely, it's an important one because we're mobilising and stretching out the joints within the range of movement they're used to in a squat, okay? So again, that's all I'm doing with this. Of course, I can't concentrate. I'm just completely tuned into those seagulls now. Right, okay, they're mocking me. I'm getting the hand, pinning the hand on the foot, and I'm putting my elbow in. I'm getting the rage. Can you see the vein popping out my forehead? I'm only kidding. Calm. Good job I'm not yet running a meditation class. So I'm putting that elbow into the knee, I'm pulling that knee apart, and then I'm pushing my hips down. So the first part of this movement is simply just getting a good stretch, holding a good position, yep, and relaxing. Okay, so I'm pushing the hips down, getting the chest up. That's part one. Now again, I am going to start rotating away from it, and as a result, I'm lengthening out the groin. So make sure you feel it. Every bit you rotate away, you should feel it more and more. If you don't, make sure your hips are getting pushed down, and you've not decided to rise with the hips and just simply do this. Okay, so this is wrong. I've twisted my body, I've lost the stretch. I need to keep all that where it is, keep my hips down, And again, you don't even need to go far. You just need to start thinking about twisting and you'll feel the enhancement. But again, pushing the hips down. Good, and then I'm back to the centre when you're ready. Now please work through this at your own time if you're familiar with it. That should feel a bit better, and now I'm going to go the other way. So if you can't drop to the elbow because it's too much, I'm still trying to get that chest towards the ankle here. However, if you can drop to the elbow, it'll just let you get a bit closer to it. And again, I'm trying to simply just get my chest towards my ankle. Try. I'm not telling you to touch your chest with your, touch your ankle with your chest. I'm trying to get you to move that way. Good, and then I'm back into the centre. I'm going to hold that for 10. Hopefully that feels good. Well, good. It doesn't feel good, but it feels better. It feels like you've done something with it, okay? Hopefully it's moving a bit better. Good. Right, on your feet, shake it out, sip of water. Let's get stuck into the glutes now, everyone. So if you've got a bench, a sofa, no you don't, it's a wall. A wall works best, which for most people you've got. If you don't have a wall, a bench, or even a sofa will work. And I think you know what one this is by now, but I'll talk you through it again as if you've never done it. So the bench here in this demonstration is my wall, okay? Now a wall does work better. So if you've only got a wall, it's not wrong. I don't really have a wall, well I do, I've got 4 of them, but I can't go in it, otherwise you won't see me. But it works just fine. All I'm looking for is something to put my foot up against. Now I'm side on for a reason. I want to get nice and close to whatever surface I've got before I get into this movement. All I'm doing, I'm side on to my wall or my bench or whatever, nice and close, pretty much almost touching it. And then I'm going to swivel round without letting those hips move away. And then I'm going to plant my left foot on the wall, okay? Left foot, right foot, not yet. Left foot's on the wall or the bench. Now because I was so close to it, side on, I'm now really close to it. So I'm going to come up with my right leg, put it across my left. And this is the reason why we were so close, is because now my hips are off the ground. If you weren't close enough, you'll find that your tailbone or your lower back area is on the ground. And that's not what we want because you've got nothing to work with there really. Okay, so right now, this moment in time, my lower back feels like it's lifted off the ground, my hips are off the ground, I've got my leg across, classic glute stretch position, isn't it? We've got the leg at 90 degrees pretty much, and it's crossing over. Okay, we've got that internal rotation of the leg. So all I want you to do now is with the hand, gently, push the bent leg away from you. And I mean gently, we don't want to put a lot, you don't need to be pushing that too hard. And then what I want you to do is just simply relax. Think about the pelvis, think about the hips, think about the lower back. I want you just to let gravity take it down. Now, you shouldn't completely touch the ground with the lower back, but I want you to imagine it is sinking. But this is where you really have to relax, okay? To get the best out of this stretch, you need to think, right, is there any muscle in my body that's tensed? Or in my hips especially, just completely and utterly relaxed. Now you're going to feel it in the glutes, but you're probably also going to feel it to some degree in the lower back. And again, just a little bit, you don't need much, just a little bit of pressure pushing on that knee away from you while you rest those hips and let those hips collapse towards the ground. Same exercise, same movement, do not move. All I want you to do is instead of pushing the knee, I want you to put your hand in front of it or behind it, depending on what way you're looking at it really, and pull the knee towards the opposite shoulder. So I've got my right knee here, the one that's crossed across, and I'm going to just simply, and when I mean 2 fingers at most, push, and you're going to feel it sweep. That muscle that runs across your butt, you're going to feel it, okay? So I'm just slightly pulling my knee towards the opposite shoulder, but I'm still keeping that hip action going where it's just completely relaxed hips. Hopefully you're feeling that. I'm pretty confident you will, because you really don't need to do much with it to feel it. Okay, I'm not grabbing my knee and ripping it across, I'm just applying a gentle bit of tension. And you're going to really feel that on the glutes. Good, and I'm going to ease out. Now, if you're fairly close, if you feel you're in a good position here, and your hips are pretty close to the wall, just simply change legs. If you feel you're in a pretty dire position, then get side onto that wall again. Make sure you're nice and close, and then swivel round. So I've changed legs. I've now got my left leg across my right. And the first part is just feeling it in the glutes, lower back again, is probably feeling it, and then just slightly, ever so slightly, just push. Apply a little bit of tension by pushing that knee away. And then just completely relax those hips. Make sure you're not fighting this in any way at all. Think about all the muscles. Are they completely relaxed? Is gravity just sinking and trying to pull down those hips? Yes, good. Or are you shaking around, holding a dodgy position, fighting it? And that's not good. So again, now I'm going to instead push the knee away. I'm going to pull it. So when I pull it, I'm really going to feel it in the glutes more. I'm going to feel it sweeping across the butt. Same movement, same principle, but rather than push the knee, I'm just slightly, and really slightly, pulling it across towards that opposite shoulder. Good. Slowly, everybody, ease out of that one. Now again, it is a lot of pressure on the lower back, so you may well feel the lower back a wee bit tender. Can't even get up, can't even get up. I'm really selling this mobility stuff when I can't even get back up on feet. Right, let's go. Shake yourselves out, get a sip of water. Good. Okay, get your mats. We're going into it. We're going into it. The horror. Right, okay, we don't like this one, do we? Some people do, but most of us don't. It's the enhanced glute stretch. Yep, the one where you're really going to feel it in that hip. Ready for it? I'm not, but I suppose we better. Suppose we better do it. Right, okay, so I'm sitting down on my butt. Yep, I'm sitting on my side, on my hip. I've got this leg out. I'm going to go for left leg. Left leg out, 90 degrees. If you're happy with this, get into it. Yep, get into it. If you're not happy, just listen to my prompts. Oh, my prompts. Right, okay, so I'm going to pin that foot down. Yep, and then I'm going to get up on top. So I'm getting up on top. It's a bit like the warrior lunge we've done. Okay, so I'm trying to get my body up centrally on top of this leg, and then I'm getting that knee back down. Now that alone, everyone, might be a hell of a stretch for people, okay? That alone, just this position here, trying to get that knee back down. Now what's important is, if you find it, if you look at your shin and it's kind of coming in at 45 degrees to your body, grab a hold of that foot and just move that knee back so that that leg is again straight, 90 degrees roughly. And then with that back leg, I'm just positioning my body so that I'm up on top of it. Now once you get into it, you might not need to pin the foot, but if you've got a slidey floor, you probably will. And then I'm here. I'm going for it. This is the start of it all. So for me right now, I'm really feeling it in the hips a hell of a lot. But we have to build up into it, a lot of us. A lot of the time, because it is so stiff that we really do fight it. Yep, as in we're really not putting much weight onto this leg. So I want you, if you're in the same position as I am right now and it's feeling pretty rough, just slowly start sinking into the ground. Slowly start relaxing more and more weight onto that leg, and you're going to feel it more and more on the hip. Yep, we're going to feel it in the hip capsule, we're going to feel it in the glutes. And then if you're able to, drop to the elbows, and that will just let you get more weight down on it and probably get a better stretch. And then it's a simple case of just trying to push down into it. We should not be getting knee pain. If you're getting knee pain, look at your position, adjust your position, and if you're still getting knee pain, then just ease out of it, okay? We don't want knee pain. Although this is a pretty uncomfortable stretch, but all I ask is that you try to suck it up and get on with it. Yeah. Try your best because you need to be relaxed, okay? If you're shaking and it's hell, it ain't working well. Whoa, that was a rhyme. Now you can, while you're holding this stretch, manoeuvre around into it. Okay, so we can get stuck into it, move around. You're not easing out of it. I'm not really moving the position of my leg, I'm manoeuvring the position of my body, right? I'm going to ease out of that one. Okay, if you want to stand up, but I'm just going to get stuck into the next one. Okay, now for me, this right leg is always a hell of a lot worse. And I don't know why. I wish I did. But I've been doing mobility now for a while, and it never is any different. It's always stiffer than my left. It's better, always stiffer than my left. So this is where you're going to see what it looks like when you are real stiff. So again, I'm pinning that foot because I really don't want that foot sliding away. And then I'm getting up. So right now there's not a stretch. I'm just positioning myself as best I can. The stretch kicks in when I get that knee back down. Now again, if you are tight, I don't want you putting the knee too far forward. Okay, that's not what we want. If you are pretty tight, your aim is to get that knee down. Now this is where you have to be careful. We don't want knee pain, so maybe you do have to ease out of it a wee bit. Now for me, this position alone is pretty torture. However, I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to get on with it. Yep, whatever, Leslie, get on with it, shut your face. So we're only doing this because you're here. We never do this one. If you're ever not here, we don't do the glute stretch. I just know you hate it. And that alone is worth me going through the suffering of it all. Right, let's go for it. Right, okay, I'm going for it. Yep, so this me right now, it looks like I'm just chilling. I'm not, this is pretty horrible. But what I'm going to do is get down onto those elbows and just go for it. Yep, just get the weight onto that leg, onto that hip, and just try your best to relax it into it. Pretty awful, yep, I know, for some. But again, other people might be all right. And once you've got that stretch, feel free to manoeuvre around within it. Oof. Good, and then we're going to ease out of it, everyone. Well done. Get up, walk around, and shake it out. Okay, good. So groin and glutes, done. Let's get on to some more. Right. Well, that was nice, wasn't it? Right, what else? God, we've really flown through that this morning. Very strangely, we've still got 20 minutes. Anyway, we're still going. Right, what are we doing next, everybody on live? Any suggestions, or are we just going to go with the flow? Because the flow is going to take us that way. Yep, you happy with it? Go with the flow. Grab yourself a towel. We're going to do the hammies. Or resistance band. If you've got a resistance band, go and grab one of them. But it has to be a fairly thick one. Okay, so we're going to do the hammies. If you've got a towel works just fine. But I recommend that it's a reasonably long towel. Yep, a reasonably long towel. So don't worry if you're going faffing about trying to find a towel. I'll go slow. Okay, so moving on nicely from the glutes into the hamstrings. It's a nice natural progression. Okay, now the key with this one is, if you're happy with this, please just crack on into it. I'm just farting about because I know some people are away grabbing towels and bands. The key point with this is you have to keep the knee locked out. Absolutely have to keep the knee locked out on this one. And another top tip I'll give you with it is, you probably think you're going far with it, but the reality is you could probably go a lot further. You're just needing to get on with it, okay? As in, it's pretty uncomfortable, this stretch. I know, it makes complete sense, doesn't it? It's pretty uncomfortable, but what I'm getting at is, quite often or not, I'll be holding a position that feels pretty uncomfortable, when in actual fact there's a good few more inches left before it truly is at its sticking point. So all I'm doing, I'm hooking that band or towel around the ball of my foot, and I'm just simply, with the opposite leg's lying completely flat, so I can see legs on live sitting like this. Yep, sort that other leg out, it's completely down. The other leg is completely down. The leg that you're not stretching is completely down. The leg that you are not stretching is completely flush on the floor, and it is not like this. It is not like this. I'm going to have to start using names. So, the opposite leg, completely flat on the floor. Yep, we're with us, you with us? Good. Now all I'm doing with this band or towel is pulling it down. Now I want you to make sure that your foot, think about the foot now for a moment, think about the foot. The foot should be completely relaxed. Yeah, so as a result, you're pulling on it, it should be coming towards you. You should not be pushing your toes into the towel, so think about that now. Is that towel really pulling my foot towards me? Yes, good. Or am I tensing up that foot and fighting this stretch? Once you've got that, the knee being locked out, I'm going to start moving my leg back, 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 and again, I don't need to go far. What? Before I feel it. You take this to your sticking point, everyone, and you hold it there. And then from there, you build on it. You focus on your breathing, you move it another inch. Whoa, hellish, but I'm going to focus on my breathing. I'm going to stay relaxed. Then I feel it ease out a wee bit because I've been holding it there for a good few seconds, 10, 20. And I'm going to move it another inch. And just keep working through that. Again, check your position. Is my knee locked out? Is my foot completely relaxed? Is my opposite leg completely flat on the ground? Can I feel the ground on the back of my knee? On the leg that's on the ground? Oh man. Good work. Good work. Yes, how are we feeling? We feeling this one? You with us? Okay, we'll call it last 20 seconds. So this is where you really, really are going uncomfortable now. It's not the best. It's not the nicest, I mean. Just try to relax. Is my feet relaxed? Is my foot relaxed, sorry. Is my knee locked out? Good, let's relax out of that one. Straight into the next one. Straight into the next one. So before you all start rushing down, yep, the leg that I'm not stretching, it's relaxed on the ground, yep. It doesn't sit like this. I'll say it again. The leg is completely relaxed on the ground. Yes, it is you. Yes. Yes. Yes, you with a vintage Nike t-shirt on. Okay, it doesn't work the same if you're sitting holding a stretch like this. Okay, get the leg completely flush and relaxed. Stand by. Go. So again, I'm taking it to the point, that sticking point. When I get to that sticking point, is in that point it feels like boof, right? That's pretty uncomfortable. What I'm going to do is make sure that knee is that knee's locked out, and my foot is completely relaxed, and that band is pulling it towards me, or that towel. I'm not fighting this at all, and then I'm simply working through that range. Try to take it further and further and further. Keep working through it, everybody. Keep breathing, keep relaxing, keep trying to take it further. Hell of an uncomfortable stretch, but a hell of a good one. You have to get the most out of this one, though. That's down to you. Work through it. Good. And relax out of that. Oof. Oof. Again, get yourself up. Get a sip of water if you need one. Walk around, shake it out. Hopefully your lower body's feeling a bit more mobile. Hip flexor. Yep. let's go for it. You need a bench, you need a wall, or you need something that you can raise your foot up against. If you don't have something, that's fine. If you're at home, you've got a sofa, potentially. You might not. Chances are you've got a sofa and you've got some cushions on that sofa. So if that's the case, that's what you're going to use, okay? Now all I'm going to do, I'll show you straight away. I'm simply going to raise my foot up onto the sofa, onto the bench, or onto the wall. It works just fine with a wall, but you're going to need something good and cushioned for the knee. If you don't have anything, it doesn't matter, okay? But it does matter. It's not going to be the same stretch, as in it's the same stretch, but you're not going to feel it as much, but you're going to look like this. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But what you must focus on more than anything if you're doing it this way is tilt the hips underneath the body. So hit, squeeze through, and make sure that you're not just doing that, okay? Make sure that you're not just lunging forwards. Tuck the butt underneath the body and then push through, and you'll find you get a damn good stretch. Now, if you've got the means of lifting the foot, it's just going to, all we're doing here is by lifting that leg up, we're lengthening all this out. So as soon as I get into this, I feel it a lot more, okay? So it allows me to go maybe just a wee bit more. Now, because of that, some people might be tight. So what you must do is work through the range. So don't just come straight up and end up being offside because it's so tight that you're getting pulled towards it and your pelvis is off center. Lean forwards, find your pelvis and just make sure, grab your hip bones, just try to get them in line and then start coming up. And then try to push the hips through, trying to keep the pelvis balanced, okay? If you get my point, you should feel like the pelvis is fairly balanced. If it is real tight, you're going to feel it pulling a wee bit, but what I don't want is you sitting there with your pelvis hit a corner kick. Yep, so you're trying, you might be here, and this is your sticking point and it feels like hell and you're getting a damn good stretch, then that's fine, that's what you're working for. Or if you're able to get up a wee bit more, but again, for the duration of this stretch, you'll maybe find that it takes a wee bit of time to be able to get more upright. So I'm tucking the pelvis underneath the body still here, tucking it underneath and pushing the hips through while that butt's tongued. Pardon me, it's like a glute bridge. So when I'm telling you to come up on a glute bridge, I always tell you to tilt the hips towards the head. That's exactly what you're trying to do here, and then squeeze through. And as a result, we should be feeling it. If your quads are tight, you're going to feel it in the quads, but we should be feeling it hip flexor area. Pushing through. And again, you just trying to get the best out of this you can. So you shouldn't just be holding a relaxed position or a kind of half-arsed position as such. We're trying to push through, we're trying to make it better. And it's hard to see, you know, what I'm doing, but I'm holding this and I'm tucking that pelvis and I'm pushing through and I'm getting a hell of a stretch. It's pretty uncomfortable, I won't lie. But that's down to you to get the work in and get something from this. Good. Change legs, everybody. I can't believe how much we've got done this well, and I feel like I've forgotten something key. Okay, so I'm changing legs. Usually glutes and groins is one session. Managed to smash that out and then some. Probably forgotten something, haven't we? Right, okay. So I'm leaning forward, finding my pelvis, trying to get those hip bones aligned, as in balanced, and then start coming up. Then start tucking the pelvis underneath the body, and then pushing through. So straight away, feeling it. And again, you might be up nice and tall, or you might be like this. As long as you're feeling that, stretching out, and you're getting it to the max and taking it further, you're going to get better, okay? So it doesn't matter whether beginners here, or a bit more better. Better mobility, people with better mobility will be up here. It doesn't matter. Okay, this is what you're striving for. You're striving to be able to be up here with balanced pelvis, pushing through, feeling a good stretch on the hip flexor, feeling that you can really get stuck into it. And again, you know, if you twist in that way enhances it more and you're feeling it more, then play around with it. Hold the stretch and try to enhance it any way you can. You might just find there's a better way of doing it for you. Good, and then we're easing out. Easing out of that one. Right, okay, we'll call it a day there, everybody. I don't want to attack too much of the lower body, because then that means that hips part 1 or part 2, whatever we're at, doesn't exist. So I don't want to just do the full shebang. So we'll call it a day there. Thank you very much. Glutes and groin, plus hip flexor, hamstrings, and maybe a wee bit more, I can't remember. So thank you, and that is us hopefully feeling a bit better for that. And again, all that we've done there is going to help contribute to more of that, okay, being able to squat, pulling your knees apart. And again, of course, we've left the ankles out, but those ankles play a key part in your squats. But hopefully it's just taking a lot of pressure, a lot of stiffness, a lot of tightness out of there. But also it's not just about that, it's about improving your mobility and flexibility, which in turn is going to improve your recovery rate, potentially. I say potentially because again, you know, is there proof there? It's just all talk. If you do stretching and you feel it enhances your recovery, then it enhances your recovery. Okay, for me it's a case of I feel better. I definitely feel the benefit when it comes to exercise. I feel I don't need to warm up as long anymore. Okay, I used to take about half an hour to get my body moving. Okay, now I can feel that I'm pretty mobile from the get-go. I just need to warm up as such. Okay, I don't need to spend 15 minutes trying to be able to move. So, yep, mobility and flexibility works for you in many different ways, but whatever that is, hopefully it's working for you. So thank you very much, and that was glutes and groin with a wee bit of extra bonus rounds in there as well. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and that is us. Thank you very much.